there, welcome to AM Prime on WESN Content Capital. I'm Keaton Shaw. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. My first conversation, I welcome the United Way of Trinidad and Tobago, which on February 29th launched the 11th United Way Trinidad and Tobago Day of Caring at the Hyatt Regency. Now, the Day of Caring will take place on Sunday the 19th of May with support from private and public entities as well as volunteers across Trinidad and Tobago with the aim to inspire, touch people's lives while building resilience and demonstrating that everyone has equal opportunities to succeed. I welcome this morning to the program. Joining me, let me first welcome Chief Executive Officer of the United Way Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Gail Suknarain. Good morning, Ms. Suknarain. Welcome to AM Prime.
Morning, Keaton, and morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. And also with us this morning is the Resource Development Manager at the United Way of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Kendall Taluka. Good morning, sir. Welcome to AM Prime.
Hi, good morning, Keaton. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Ms. Suknarain, I'll start with you by please explaining to us exactly what the United Way of Trinidad and Tobago is. What is the organization about and exactly what do they do?
So United Way Trinidad and Tobago is a NGO established in Trinidad nearly 25 years ago. It's actually international based. So there's about 1,800 and United Ways worldwide scattered across the globe. And the ethos or philosophy of United Way is helping communities thrive. So really working with communities so that each person in a community can thrive. And Trinidad and Tobago, similarly, we work in communities to help communities thrive by bringing together resources, using a collaborative approach, and working in communities to implement various programs as well as projects.
Mm-hmm. What are some of those programs and projects that you're referring to, especially when you're penetrating communities across TNT?
Yeah, so one of our flagship program is a program under our priority area of education, and that's the Building Bridges program. We believe that we want to work with at the foundational stage for children's development. So we work with infants 1 and infants 2 in 15 primary schools across Trinidad and Tobago. And the objective of that program is children reading to learn by age 8. So notice, Keaton, I'm not saying learning to read, but more so reading to learn. So reading to learn and understand and to be able to, when they are faced with new topics, new information, that they can learn what they're reading. So that's the main objective in that program.
Mr. Taluka, as I welcome you to the conversation now, and as Ms. Suknarain points out, there are many initiatives, just given an example of one, but the Show You Care initiative actually is part of the Day of Caring. The theme this year actually is quite pertinent to the state that the world is in, not just TNT, where everybody needs a little bit of care. Please speak to us a bit more about the theme itself and how it is that the Day of Caring actually plans to bring out the best in everyone as it relates to this theme.
Sure. So our theme this year is actually a continuation of the theme from 2023. It's called Show You Care Everywhere. And what we are trying to say is that anyone at any age, no matter where you are, whether it's at home, in your community, in your school, anywhere throughout the country at any time, that you could show care everywhere. And when we say show care everywhere, we think that care happens whenever we extend ourselves out of our comfort zone, for the well-being of somebody else. And you're quite right that, we could all use a little care, especially at this point in time, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but across the world in general. And the Day of Caring itself, it spans many different types of projects across various communities in Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm. Does the Day of Caring itself present itself beyond just the opportunity for volunteers and for everybody to come together? I mean, what other opportunities does this day present for all who participate in it here in TNT?
Well, from a point of view of volunteers, it presents an opportunity for you to give back within your community. So that's one aspect of it. And by that, I mean, we usually extend this project to corporate entities, especially our donor partners, who donate to us at United Way to make all of our programs possible. And they come together on that day with their employees. And it's really an employee-driven exercise. And corporate Trinidad and Tobago just, they have the facility, but the employees are the care ambassadors and the volunteers who drive it. And the types of projects that they would execute range from, painting schools, putting up green gardens, sustainable gardens in not only schools but communities as well. We have environmental projects such as beach cleanups, as well as tree replanting that goes on, reforestation projects, recycling projects. So there are various types of projects that are executed. In addition to that, the other component, in addition to volunteerism, we encourage people to also donate or give where they can also, and that could be financial or non-financial. So for instance, we have a donation page on our website, and when you go there to uwtt.com/give, you could click on the donate button. If you cannot volunteer itself, you could give to volunteer also.
Certainly, every aspect of society. Yes, Mr. Knorri.
If I could just mention as well, I just want to say, the Day of Caring, we feel like is the first step towards continuous community work. Because sometimes what happens, when I went on my first beach cleanup, or you do a first project for the first time, it gives you an idea of really how big the problem is, or, a first beach cleanup, the kind of challenges, we have with plastics on the beach and how it's affecting our environment. We go to a school to paint for the first time. It feels good when we see a before and after picture after a day of hard work, right? And what the Day of Caring, what we hope to achieve is to show people that coming together, that collective working, putting all our hands together can really help to change communities and by extension, change Trinidad and Tobago in a more positive way.
Well, that being said, this is the 11th year of the Day of Caring. Throughout the 11 years, as we aim to celebrate it this year, Show You Care Every Way, tell me about the actual volunteerism and whether or not you're seeing more and more people participating, more and more people coming out and wanting to lend that hand, to share and to give some help through any means, as Mr. Tiluka would have used in his response.
So we would have seen, because we've built relationships with corporate partners. Part of our initiative is coming out and thank you for this show this morning. But for the people who's not familiar with the Day of Caring, to really say to those new corporate partners or those new groups, and it could be a community group, it could be somebody who's in it could be a village council, but to come out together with us on the 19th of May, and together, we have wonderful Live United t-shirts, and together show, because we'll have videography and everything out there, to show that together we can, which was actually one of our themes in past years. Because of COVID, we couldn't have done no in-person projects for about 3 years. So last year was our first coming back out from COVID. And this year we've already seen new companies wanting to participate in the Day of Caring on May 19th, but also existing companies with bigger teams participating.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually glad to learn that through all these difficult times, still corporate TNT is willing and wanting to do their part. So that's really, really good news, actually. Mr. Tiluka, come back to you, because earlier you would have used the term care ambassadors. Could you kindly just elaborate a bit more on that for us so we have a better understanding of what or who care ambassadors are?
So our care ambassadors are the volunteers who come out to participate on the Day of Caring itself. And it's not just about volunteerism, but because they also inspire others to care also. Because what we realize is that the volunteerism project of the National Day of Caring, or the Day of Caring, is one of the largest of its kind in Trinidad and Tobago, where everybody comes out on this one day to care. And by them showing that, you could give back in various different ways through various different means and doing different types of projects. It acts as a signaling mechanism to the wider communities in Trinidad and Tobago. And it inspires them also to realize, I could also give in some small way myself. It doesn't matter my position, my status, where I am, what type of income that I have. In any small way, I could contribute and give back and make Trinidad and Tobago a better place.
So, what is planned for 2024? We're speaking about the Show You Care Everywhere initiative. That's the theme. I get that. But for 2024 ahead, we can't just say one day for caring. This is just the start of it all. Mr. Ryan, the United Way and all its activities thus far, because you never know what pops up. What is planned for the year ahead?
So, on this initiative, we the May 19th is the beginning. Sometimes we have corporate partners or corporate organizations, because of their schedule, say to us, we can't make it on May 19th, or they want to do a bigger project that can't be completed in one day. And so therefore, during the course of the rest of the year, we do smaller projects or smaller caring initiatives. And again, because of our stakeholders and the partnerships we have with them, stakeholders reach out to us and say, well, we have this proposal, we need this, there's this need, whether in the community or where we work, and therefore, can you reach out? And then we reach out to a corporate partner who might say, that and match the same interests, and the projects can happen continuously through the rest of the year. And we have some that's already indicating to us, besides May 19th, they will be doing things in August, September, and closer to Christmas. Besides that, we are doing a big music project in Matura Government Primary School. So we're building out a music room there. We got from one of our corporate partners a donation of steel pans. And so we're building out a music room that should be completed in June. We're doing a bathroom renovation project for Salazar Government Primary School. And we are also planning some summer camps, music summer camps, in the schools that we work with. So Kizan, just as some of the projects United Way is working on right now, that's it.
That's a lot, though. That's a lot. Okay. Wow. Mr. Tuluk, I'm coming back to you because
Sure.
we still about just over a month before the actual Day of Caring is celebrated and recognized in TNT. But that being said, though, how can corporate entities who are viewing the program this morning get in contact with you guys, and what can they do to participate for the day itself and for the year ahead?
Sure. So to reach out to us, you could shoot us an email at unitedway@uwtt.com. That's unitedway@uwtt.com, or even reach out to us on our mobile contact at 717-8630. That's 717-8630. And the various ways in which companies participate are like twofold. So I would say that the companies could choose a project from our list. We have currently curated around 40 projects on our list. 21 of them have been adopted already, so we still have a few that are available. So companies could reach out to us to indicate their interest. We will share the list with them or proposals with them, and they could see which projects resonate with them. Similarly, companies can also have their own projects, because we recognize that these corporate entities work within their fence-line communities to give back to them and enrich the lives of the communities within which they operate. So they could also do that as well, and just send the registration to us. And what we will do is that we will register the project. We will also send media on the day itself to the project as well to amplify the efforts. And what would happen is that if they share on their platforms and we share on ours, we could collectively amplify, the giving that happens. And that goes for all the companies that are involved with us, because we want to show that everyone gets involved and that everyone is able to give back in any way that they can and any way possible.
And can anyone be a care ambassador? Can anyone come out on May 19th to be a part of this?
I would say yes. Any community, if you just want to do, let's say, a community cleanup, if you want to just do a garden project within your community, if it's anything to deal with, let's say, preparing some meals, giving back to the less fortunate in society or within your community itself. There are very meaningful ways that you could give back in any different type of way. It could be as much as helping your neighbor clean their yard if they are elderly and they're not able to do so for themselves. So there are very different ways in which anybody could give back to their community on the day of caring itself and show you care everywhere.
Simple actions can make a big difference indeed. I very much like that. So Ms. Suknarain, as we are concluding this morning's conversations, and thank you very much for joining us on the program and for bringing this level of awareness to the public, of course, as to how they can participate, how they can volunteer. Your closing message to Trinidad and Tobago and your closing message to them as to why volunteerism can make a big difference in TNT with all that we're facing and all that we're going through.
I would say we have to come together to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place. It's not one sector or only one group of people can do this. And I want to encourage everybody to come together. Look at what your community needs. We all live in communities. We all understand some of what our communities might need. And like Kendall says, helping a neighbor who cannot do things for themselves. Think about what project you can do in your community and come out with us on May 19th to start this progressive change, but a positive change. That's what I want to encourage.
Indeed. Well, Ms. Suknarain, thank you so very much for joining us on AM Prime this morning. Mr. Tiloka, it's been a pleasure indeed. Thank you very much. And to the rest of the team at the United Way of Trinidad and Tobago, we thank you all very much for all of your efforts and hard work. We look forward to the May 19th just being the start of a lot more to come indeed. So congratulations to all and all the very best.
Thank you, and thank you for having us.
Take care. You can reach out to the United Way Trinidad and Tobago. As Mr. Tiloka mentioned, you can simply go on their website and donate. But sometimes it doesn't even take money, it just takes your time. That effort can go a long way indeed. So May 19th is the day of caring here in TNT, but it's the start of a lot more that you can do to make TNT a brighter, better place. Thank you very much to the United Way of TNT for joining us on AM Prime this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a break here on the program. We will return shortly with some more conversations. Stay tuned.
Imagine a world where arguments don't exist. CICR is a full-service conflict resolution company that offers mediation training and workshops for all. In 2024, our 40-hour workshops are back, giving you all the tools you need to become a certified mediator in Trinidad and Tobago. Want to know more? Call us at 768-6778 or visit our website. Let's work together to make the world a better place.
The home of Caribbean content is growing, and we welcome you to be a part of the #1 platform for young personalities who are driven to make a positive impact in society. As we continue to reach every corner of Trinidad and Tobago through our daily broadcasts, our social media pages, or through our 75+ digital billboards across the nation, contact us to learn about our competitive rates via marketing at wesncc.com or call us at 628-5835. WESN Content Capital, television with a difference.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the
not no.
Let's go to the last part.
Welcome back to AM Prime, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We just had a conversation about volunteerism and how it makes a big difference. That's helping others in society. But you know what they say? Charity begins at home. Sometimes you need to take a moment to focus on yourself. A big part of our lives, or a big part of dealing with everyday situations, is also learning to manage stress. In fact, sometimes they say stress is a silent killer. Why? Because you may not actually fully be aware or understand what stress is doing to you, simply because you might be ignoring it. Sometimes you're just ignoring it, it builds up, it has effects. And there's simple things that you can do to help yourself. People often speak about meditation. People often speak about doing something that brings some sort of happiness or pleasure to your life. And then a couple months ago, we had a conversation about yoga, and we spoke about exactly what yoga is and the benefits to yoga. Now this morning we are actually expanding that conversation, looking a bit deeper as per one of the benefits, and that is helping with anxiety and stress as part of Stress Awareness Month. I'm joined this morning by teacher at the Art of Living, Ms. Rihanna Lutchman. You may recognize her face as I have. Still trying to figure this out, but Ms. Lutchman is with us virtually. Good morning. Welcome to AM Prime.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. So let me start by asking very simply, how does yoga actually help? How is yoga a form of therapy in dealing with stress and anxiety?
Yeah. So, yoga is kind of a misunderstood in that people nowadays think it's just a physical exercise. They associate it mostly with the physical side. And yes, it can help with the physical side, but it is more than that. Yoga is the union of body, mind, and spirit. And it consists of 3 tools. There are breathing techniques, there are postures or poses, that's the body side, and there is the meditation and relaxation. And people usually look at meditation separately from yoga, but they are all in one, under one umbrella. So yoga, yes, it improves your physical health because you are moving, you're striking different poses. So of course it's going to help your flexibility, build your strength, correct your posture, manage your weight, and combat lifestyle diseases such as stress. Now, in holding these postures, you have a certain amount of discipline. And then you become more aware of what you are doing. Just by doing yoga and the breathing techniques, you become more aware of yourself. And in becoming more aware of yourself, you have greater mental clarity. So it will help to improve your mental health because now you are more aware of what is happening in your life. So it spills over from just being on a yoga mat to how it helps you within your life.
Now, in terms of achieving that level of self-awareness, an individual dealing with anxiety will find it very difficult to try and focus on themselves. So this is something that's not just going to happen through one session or one attempt at yoga. That being said, though, is it something that is difficult to actually concentrate on? Is it something that takes a lot more concentration than just saying, hey, listen, I'm going to do this for 1 week and that's it? Is this overtime treatment, in other words, overtime therapy?
So that's a good point in that, stress, I can ask you, stress, do you get it only once in a while or is it a daily thing?
I think it's every second.
Exactly. I mean, just getting up in the morning can be stressful sometimes, and getting ready for work. And if you have a family, then you have others you're responsible for. And that's just the start of the day. So we face stresses throughout our day. And because it's a daily thing, your stress management tools also have to be a daily practice. So, at the Art of Living, we proudly offer stress relief techniques and self-development courses in over 180 countries around the world. And we have a signature sky breath, which is like 20 minutes of daily practice can help you feel lighter and refreshed and able to deal with anything in your life. Now, the sky breath is a yogic practice. So it ties in with what we're talking about, right? But also the sky breath from the Art of Living is a scientifically proven stress management tool that utilizes a rhythmic breath to control your emotions and allows you to be more aware of what is happening within your day.
Ms. Lachman, oftentimes I hear that simple things, and you actually, focused on that as well. Simple things such as keeping your feet on the ground and accepting stillness, or even focusing on breathing, as you've just, brilliantly elaborated on, goes a long way. They're powerful tools that we tend to ignore. But that's the thing. It's very difficult to understand how breathing actually has, and concentrating on breathing. I know we have to breathe to survive, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, the focus on breathing, concentrating on your breaths and the length of your breaths and how powerful your breaths are, go a very, very long way. Is this just something that people can practice on a daily basis? Just sit still, take 5 minutes out of their lunchtime, and you will see the benefits over time?
I have seen the benefits, right? I have seen the value of it, which is why I'm an art of living teacher. I've seen it in my own life, and I'm teaching it to others so that they can use it in their lives. How can you use these practices or put the art of living experience into your daily life? See, stress is, like we were saying, a daily thing. And in small, we usually talk about stress in a negative way, of course, but in small amounts, stress can be a positive push to get something done. Of course, if that stress continues over time, it now becomes chronic. And that is where it starts to manifest physically. It starts, and then you would go to a doctor maybe to address those physical issues, those symptoms, without dealing with the underlying issues. And we take for granted something that you feel right under your nose, and that's your breath. We are given all of the tools to help ourselves, but we take them for granted.
Like how you said that, we're given the tools to help ourselves, we take it for granted. So, and I know you just mentioned a bit of your personal experience as well. As a teacher though, you're helping others, you're guiding others. But I'm pretty sure that you yourself, at times, get a bit overwhelmed due to stress. That being said though, given all that you've practiced and all that you said, is it something that you find yourself challenged with at times, or is it just something that you've learned to deal with?
So yes, that's a good one. Learned to deal with, yes. Because as you said, we're going to face things throughout the day, and we're only human. But I have seen the difference over time. And yes, it's a daily practice, so over time you are going to see the effects. I used to just go through life, just going from one thing to the next. You go to work, and then you get back home to your family and have to deal with whatever responsibilities are there. And they're both stressful situations in their own. And I realized that I was just going through the motions of life without really being part of it. And since I was introduced to yogic technique, to the sky breath from the art of living, I became more aware of what was happening in my life and how to actually deal with those stresses, how to make decisions without reacting to different stresses in my life, so that I can go about life in a more calm manner. So yes, over time, it can help.
So then where do I start? How do I start enjoying yoga? How do I start enjoying or recognizing the benefits to this?
Yeah. So, well, I'm from the Art of Living, and we have conveniently online adult classes, children classes, teen classes, so yoga for everyone. But also we have our Art of Living experience. So you can join us or sign up through our website, www.artofliving.org/pt-en, and sign up for our Art of Living experience, which includes that of meditation. You can just pull up a meditation on YouTube or on an app on your phone. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get the effect that you wish. And we teach you how to go into meditation, which is a yogic technique. And then we have another, which leads us into our next course, which is called the Part 1. And here we teach you your sky breath technique, yogic technique, which I said is scientifically proven stress management tool. And this has shown to reduce that cortisol hormone 56% decrease in just 2 weeks with daily practice of Sky. And luckily, it's also online or in person, and we have 2 courses coming up in May. So it's definitely available. And one thing about yoga is that it's free from side effects and definitely cheaper than buying these antidepressants or all these over-the-counter pills.
So I hope yoga, to a certain extent as well, teaches one patience. I say that because it sounds so well, but we are impatient people. We are very impatient as people. And there may be some viewing who are saying, but I can't wait for that. That takes too long. I need to feel some sense of relief now. I hope yoga teaches you patience as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
It's because of becoming, it sounds so simple, but you know, our simplest tools are the most effective. I don't know why we think we need to spend a lot of money to get to do something that we have the tools within us to help ourselves. And it's right under your nose. So, yeah, we can it can help with patients, and they do that by just bringing awareness to yourself. And again, it sounds so simple, but you have to try it. You just don't say that, no, it's not going to work. I don't see how it's going to work. You're not going to see unless you try it.
Okay, so then, let's just say some people, say, okay, I'm willing to try yoga. It's going to take some time, though. What are some of the things that they can employ off the mat? In other words, simple little things like even reviewing their schedule or accepting a bit more of the outdoors and nature, minus the Saharan dust, that is, although that's part of nature. I mean, what are some of the things that they can employ off the mat?
Yeah. So we have 4 tips of dealing with stress in active living. The first tip is to eat right. That's the first thing. It's encouraged that you eat a more balanced meal. So your veggies or your fiber, your carbs, your protein, a more balanced meal and not just sweets or heavy on carbs or whatever it may be. So eat right, but also eat the right proportion. Not every day is going to be a Sunday meal where you feel like you just want to sleep afterwards. So eating right plays an important part in ourselves. And we know, we've heard that you are what you eat. So as well, eating more fresh veggies, fruits, instead of the processed stuff. So eating right is our first tip. Second tip is to breathe right. Is to sleep right. So the amount of sleep was recommended 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night. So ensure that you sleep right. And you know, when you don't sleep, you don't get enough sleep, or how you feel. You feel grumpy, you just can't get up and go the next day. So sleep plays an important part in how we feel the next day. Third tip is to breathe right. And it could be simply, as you were saying, sitting for 5 minutes at lunchtime and just taking the time to go inward by breathing. And you know, we don't always breathe right. There's a certain way to breathe. We're a lot of mouth breathers, but we should really breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So it's something to practice. Maybe 5 minutes during lunchtime, we can just sit and breathe for a few minutes. And in fact, if we have time, I can show you a very simple breathing technique.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, and you know, the breath, as we were saying, we take it for granted. But how long can you go without food? Do you know how long can you go without food?
I
Some people
haven't
might
tried this
stay
as
a
yet.
few hours, but
I haven't tested exactly how long, but a few hours sounds about right.
so it's really like 2 weeks. You can go without food for about 2 weeks. But how long can you go without sleep?
Listen, when you were speaking about 6 to 8 hours, I kept thinking, I'm lucky if I get 4. And then and you saying, you might feel grumpy the next day, you know, the side effects. I'm like, yes, that's most days. So I get you, yeah.
Well, you don't show it here, so that's good.
Okay. See, I'm trying.
So we can usually go without sleep. It's recommended not to go over 4 to 5 days without sleep.
Whoa.
But how long can you not breathe for?
No, I probably wouldn't be showing it this morning if I wasn't breathing.
Exactly. So we can only withhold our breath for a minute, maybe 2 minutes. So our breath is a constant in our life that we take for granted. And we need to learn how to breathe right. And our fourth tip is to have the right state of mind. So to have a clearer, calmer mental state. And you can do this by practicing yoga daily, by breathing, by meditating, or by doing the sky breath from the Art of Living. Those are 4 tips.
So, Ms. Lutchman, we are nearing that time where we have to part ways for now. But before we go, I don't know if you just want to just quickly show us any technique that one can practice just sitting down. And you've done this interview this morning, you've spoken, and we thank you for the advice. But is there anything that we can do just sitting down, any breathing techniques one can practice, if you can just show an example?
Yes, sure. We'll do a simple technique. And actually, before we go, I would like to invite you, your audience as well, that we have a unique opportunity on next Tuesday, so that's the 30th of April, to meet with some international speakers from the Art of Living. And they're going to be speaking more on the tools that you can use within your workplace or within your community as leaders in your business or leaders within your community, a leader within your home as well. They're going to look at different tools that you can use and to empower yourselves to reduce your stress.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at Gaston Court in Chaguanas, 30th of April from 7 to 9 p.m. But please RSVP on the website www.artofliving.org/TP-EN. All right, breathing technique. So I'm just going to do one because we might be running out of time now. And you can do 2 more on your own.
Sure.
So it's very simple. It's the humming breath, or the bee breath it's called, because it sounds like a bee. And it allows you to just internalize for a moment. So we're going to be breathing into the nose and humming as we breathe out through the nose. At the same time, our index fingers are going to be placed on the little air flap and lightly press. So we're going to do one together. First, if you wish, you can close your eyes with me. And breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. One more time, breathe in. And out through the nose. Placing your index fingers over your air flap, lightly press. Breathe in through the nose and hum. And you can do that for as long as you can hold your breath. Relax the hands, a normal breath in and out. And you can go for 2 more rounds. So going again, place the fingers over the ears, Breathe in. And one more time. Breathe in. You can slowly, gently, whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Now, I was breathing very short. I usually breathe for much longer, but in the interest of time, and just to give a little sample of a simple technique that you can use to help ease any kind of stress and come inwards and be more aware of what you're doing in life.
Indeed.
So I hope to see others that should go on us next week, Tuesday, and online, maybe in a yoga session with me.
Certainly indeed. Ms. Lushman, thank you so very much for joining us on AM Prime this morning. Thank you for your time, advice, and for showing us just one simple technique that can help in more than one way. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break here on AM Prime. We will return shortly. We'll be right back.
Here is the WESN News on the Hour. I am Sira Ali. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Ministry of Health claims video of neonatal unit in Couva is fake. Government senators' expletive sparks uproar in upper house debate. And internationally, TikTok to challenge U.S. law on its bans. Now for the detail. The Ministry of Health has refuted claims regarding a video circulated online depicting a proposed neonatal intensive care unit at the Couva Hospital, stating that it is inaccurate. Initially dismissing the video as fake news, the ministry has now revised its stance, opting to use the term inaccurate. This comes amidst apparent contradictions between the video and statements made by Health Minister Dayal Singh during a recent press conference where he has asserted the absence of a NICU at the hospital. A press release from the ministry clarified that the project scope for the facility did not encompass a neonatal intensive care unit, but rather a 4-bed special baby care unit equipped with incubators intended for less urgent cases. On Tuesday, the upper house witnessed a moment of controversy as Government Senator Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal sparked an uproar by using an expletive during the debate. The opposition bench responded with outrage to her words, prompting Senate President Nigel de Freitas to intervene, lecturing members about their conduct and temporarily suspending the day sitting for 15 minutes. The incident occurred during a debate on private motion brought followed by opposition Senator Jayanti Lakshmi Ramdiyal. The motion called on the government to reaffirm its commitment to democracy in Trinidad and Tobago.
Hypocrisy of this motion. I want to go to the Honorable Mr. Senator, the Senator Mark, Mr. President, as his attacks continue on independent senators and bringing the independence, and I will stay away from that one, Mr. President, the office of the President into disrepute. Mr. President, let us not forget the statements, and again, it's there on the record, the acts and the conduct of each of these opposition senators, and I see them huddling now because they have to now regroup and determine how they're going to respond to the government's reaffirmation and this government's commitment, continuous commitment to the right to democracy.
In international news, TikTok says it will challenge in court an unconstitutional law that could result in it being sold or banned in the United States. President Biden has signed into a bill which gives social media platforms Chinese owner ByteDance 9 months to divest the app, or it will be blocked in the US. The law has been introduced because of concerns TikTok might share user data with the Chinese government, claims it has always denied. TikTok boss Shouzi Chu said they are confident that they will keep fighting for your rights in the country. Well, that's it. News on the hour on WESN. I am Sira Ali. Thank you for watching.
The home of Caribbean content is growing, and we welcome you to be a part of the #1 platform for young personalities who are driven to make a positive impact in society. As we continue to reach every corner of Trinidad and Tobago through our daily broadcasts, our social media pages, or through our 75+ digital billboards across the nation, contact us to learn about our competitive rates via marketing at wesncc.com or call us at 628-5835. WESN Content Capital, television with a difference.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful. The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break a balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar
Why? You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No.
Let's go to the last part.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Folks, we're back and better than ever.
Your show have always appeared to be a show that is focused on going to the cause or looking to the cause.
We hardly ever talk about the white-collar crime, though. We always talk about the ones that involve more as physical violence against individuals.
The citizens will only measure transmission when water starts to flow through their taps.
The Constitution doesn't talk about local election.
Contract mafia that's responsible for looting the country, and they own and operate these politicians.
So if you are running a country and you can't say nothing as a prime minister, please take up your bag and go.
It is not comparative to the murder figures, but it is in fact very high.
I believe he's protecting certain individuals.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage. And we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
It is, now you don't need to register nothing. We can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and, I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
We believe in different criminals and we manipulated the law and we exploited the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we kind of have a stalemate.
You'll focus on the woman who's being the victim
or the man is being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement. If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
Let's go to the last part.
WESN.
Young at heart, purpose-driven, patriot even. When you like to party, but are still passionate about discussing important issues, the only place where your needs will be met is WESN Content Capital.
The newest book is here, Closer to the Church, the debut novel by author and former mayor Louis Lee Singh. Available at all the home store branches, Barataria, West Mall, Shogunas and C3 San Fernando. Paper-based bookshop 10 Nook Avenue, St. Anne's. WESN 30A Gattaca Street, Woodbrook. Metropolitan Bookshop, Ariapita Avenue, Woodbrook, and all RIK bookstores nationwide. Available online as paperback on Amazon.com and Kindle for e-readers. For more info, call 628-5835 or 389-6504. Also available from author Louis Lee Singh, I Used to Live in Heaven, Letters to My Granddaughters, and Local Government in Trinidad, Conspiracy Against the People. FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today. The home of Caribbean content is growing, and we welcome you to be a part of the #1 platform for young personalities who are driven to make a positive impact in society. As we continue to reach every corner of Trinidad and Tobago through our daily broadcasts, our social media pages, or through our 75+ digital billboards across the nation, contact us to learn about our competitive rates via marketing at wesncc.com or call us at 628-5835. WESN Content Capital, television with a difference.
kind of scenario the Macron government wants to avoid happening in the run-up to the Olympics, because even though we're not seeing a strike today, we're seeing huge disruptions. I spoke to one man who flew in from Toulouse this morning, and he was initially booked on an EasyJet flight. EasyJet cancelled his flight. He was booked on an Air France flight. Finally, he was booked on a third company, and that's how he arrived in Paris. So huge disruptions happening, and this is, of course, something that the government wants to avoid happen. The Senate has passed a bill to allow the government to ban strikes during certain periods of the year, like the Olympics, but that bit of legislation will have to go to the National Assembly before it becomes law.
Delano D'Souza reporting live from Orly Airport. Thank you so much for that update on a very tense situation there for travelers at Paris's second airport. Time now for a look at the day's top business news with Brian Quinn, who's joined me on set. Welcome.
Hey, Shona.
Brian, the U.S. tech sector is in the midst of an after-hours sell-off following Meta's latest earnings report.
So Facebook's parent company actually beat estimates for Q1 revenues, with its profits soaring, in fact. Revenues came in at around $36.5 billion. That is a 27% bump over the previous quarter. The problem for investors, though, is expenses. Meta is spending big on artificial intelligence, projecting capital outlays of $35 to $40 billion this year as it adds AI tools to things like ad buying products and chat assistants. Total expenses for the year are estimated at up to $99 billion. Meta is also projecting that second quarter revenues will come in lower than analyst estimates by around $500 million.
And what are we seeing on the wider stock markets today so far?
So here in Europe, continental indexes are losing ground amid a slew of earnings reports. London's FTSE 100, on the other hand, is up around 2/3% as British mining giant BHP confirms a $39 billion bid to acquire its smaller rival Anglo American. BHP shares are down around 0.5%, but Anglo Americans are up around 13%. The CAC 40 here in Paris, meanwhile, off by around 0.8%. Top French lender BNP Paribas announcing a drop in profits, but still beating analyst expectations. Its shares are up around 1%. Deutsche Bank shares up 1.7% as the German lender announces a jump in first quarter profits. The DAX in Frankfurt, though, still down around 0.2% at midday.
Brian Quinn, thank you so much for the latest business news. The World Today continues on France 24. Do stay with us.
We live next door to each other. I forgive, but my heart does not.
People run into each other in town in Vukovar. Raped women run into their rapists, and we run into the people who beat us in the Serb camps.
In 1991, Vukovar was torn apart during the war in the Balkans, with Croats on one side and Serbs on the other. But 30 years on, how do those who fought each other now live together?
We're headed for better times.
Yes, we hope so.
We're looking towards the future. We aim for normalization, for a more rational way of seeing things.
While some look to the future, others refuse to forget.
So what if some people say we have to forgive and forget? No, we don't. We have to know who the perpetrators were, so that future generations don't make the same mistake.
Watch Vukovar, Hidden Scars, on France 24 and France24.com.
This is where we usually find the bodies. They'll get stuck in the riverbank or there in the cane.
We're past the crisis. We're now at a catastrophe.
For migrants, local firefighters, sheriffs in Texas, the border with Mexico has turned into a political battle.
I don't wish for any government or political party. All I do is I want whoever is there, I want them to do their job and stops this influx of people into the country.
Running up to the US election, immigration could well prove to be the deciding issue. United States, the border battle, on France 24 and France24.com.
Worldview with Francois Picard. 2 hours of current affairs featuring the debate. Listen to the views that count on all the major international issues.
Join us for Worldview right here on France 24.
You're watching Paris Direct here on France 24. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's take a look at our top stories this hour. Emmanuel Macron just wrapping up his EU policy speech at the Sorbonne, calling for greater European security measures, among other things, in the run-up to the European legislative elections that are coming up in early June. The U.S. has been sending long-range ATACMS missiles to Ukraine in secret, a report confirms. This information comes as Joe Biden signed a $61 billion military aid package into law. And Venice tries a new scheme to reduce tourist numbers, €5 per person to visit the historic gem. This just months after Venice was added to UNESCO's endangered heritage list. We'll be getting the latest from our correspondent on the ground. French President Emmanuel Macron speaking for over an hour and a half to the press and as well as politicians at the Sorbonne in Paris, presenting a roadmap for Europe in the run-up to the European Parliament elections that are scheduled for June 6th to June 9th, calling on the bloc to become more self-reliant. The EU, he says, is going through a period of self-doubt.
There is an immense risk of being weakened or even relegated because we are at an unprecedented moment of upheaval in the world. Major change is happening faster, and so my message today is simple. We have to be clear on the fact that our Europe is mortal. It can die. It can die, and it depends solely on our choices. And we have to make those choices now.